want to talk about the 18th of August 2018. I'm staring down a quarter of a mile of smooth black rubber. Butterflies in my belly, the same I've had since I was 12. Beneath me, my 1000cc engine, she hums, powerful and alive. I tiptoe towards the invisible start line, and I know what to do. It's muscle memory, familiar. I twist the throttle and we fly. But she didn't go straight this time. We snapped back, sudden, vicious and skybound. A power wheelie turned into a paper aeroplane. There was only one thing to do. Let go, hit the ground, and hope. I remember everything about this day. The before, the during, the after. But every time I tell the story, there's always two thoughts that I talk about. The first, the moment I hit the tarmac and thought, oh, I can't feel my legs. The second, moments later, as I was distracted by that thought and the pain soared through my body. That is the story of how I became disabled. And I've had to share it more times than I care to count. I'm sharing it tonight, not for sympathy, but because it shapes who I am. Drag racing was part of my history. It was my heritage. Petrol is in my blood. But that is only a sliver of my story. My accident is 14 seconds in 32 years, but it's all anyone ever wants to know about, because society, we treat disability as a full stop. My whole existence reduced to one single story and one single identity. But the truth is, I wear many masks and I carry many labels, and disabled is just one. So tonight instead I want to talk about her, the woman without the wheelchair, who she was, who she is, and who she might be becoming. I was 24, fashion girly by day, bouncer by night, and biker on the weekends. I've never been someone that you could neatly put into one box. And I always knew I wanted to travel. I live in a land of pink clouds and magic. I follow my dreams and I certainly follow the sparkle. But I was raised in realism. So when I said I wanted to travel, I was told to get a job instead. And it did make sense to me, because I was not running away to escape. I wanted to see the world, and I wanted to see it properly with someone else. So I got the job and I moved to London. But when you are young, single and living in the capital, your paychecks are not for plane tickets. They are for bottomless brunches and many, many bad decisions. So by 24, I was no closer to the goal. That being said, I loved my job, I was fully living life, and also found my lobster.
That's me. Thank you.
6 days before my accident, I am sat at room time. The sun is coming up, it is 6 a.m. on the final morning of the festival, and I am surrounded by music, magic, and my people. I remember being sat in the camping chair and thinking, I feel untouchable. The universe could not even give me a full working week before she knocked me on the ass, and I haven't since got up. There is a story here, but we're recording it for my mum and dad, so you have to pause it.
We'll edit it out later.
I was in the ambulance, and the paramedic was literally like, I am going to give you something that is going to rock your world, it is going to blow your mind. It didn't even touch the sides. And just like that, And just like that, everything else melted away to leave a vulnerable young woman figuring out who she might be. Now she might never walk. But here was the thing, I was exactly the same. I still loved live music, I lived for the weekend, the bike hooch, the bouncer, the fashion girly. And that decade-long dream to travel, it was still very much there. So I went to physio. My therapist built my strength, I built my stubbornness, and together we learned how to climb stairs. And then COVID hit. And for once, time slowed down, and we had the space and the grace to save money. So when the world opened up in November 22, we had our plane tickets, we had a plan, and we packed our backpacks. That was it. We were leaving London and corporate life behind. Our adventure awaited. I had no idea how much travelling the world would break us. I knew it would be hard, but 13 months, 17 countries, it was the second hardest thing I've ever had to do, but also one of the greatest. It tested our relationship in ways we could never have imagined. I lost all my independence because the world is not designed for wheelchairs, not in South America, not in Southeast Asia, and sometimes not even in Sydney. We started so green, baby backpackers on the beaches of Brazil, questioning every decision we've ever made. Buenos Aires, where we got stuck for a month because my wheelchair broke at the same time that I ran out of catheters. Bolivia, unbelievable and in my opinion entirely underrated. Cities in the sky and vast salt flats, and my favourite memory where my lobster carried me to breakfast over caiman-infested waters in the Amazon. Magical. Looking back, I think, what the fuck were we doing? What were we thinking? But we made it work. He made it work because I wanted to travel. We clocked Chile and Colombia, but we had to skip Peru. Because despite two people that will try almost anything, escaping a country during civil unrest with a wheelchair was not something we were willing to try. We came back shells, sleep deprived and slightly unhinged, but ready to do it all again, because that was the plan. We had 2 weeks at home and then we boarded a flight to Bali. Another 6 months of sunshine, chaos and inaccessibility. Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Hong Kong, the Philippines, Singapore, we saw them all. Smiles on our faces and exhaustion in our eyes. But it was worth it, because I got back on a motorbike. We did the Harjan loop. To feel so small and insignificant, surrounded by such beauty, all while trusting a 17-year-old boy. What were we thinking?
It's got me.
But by the end, it was a blur. Beach, temple, waterfall, hostel bed number 113. We were done. Box ticked, bucket list complete. We came back to Australia broken. Changed in some ways, but changed in them all as well. With so many shit stories that I will never be able to share. But now, I am a backpacker because it shapes who I am and it will shape how I show up forever. But I am not just a backpacker. I am the biker, the bouncer, I am a life coach, I am a music lover. The list could go on and it does. Because despite disability encompassing almost every aspect of my life in some way, it is not my only identity, and nor is it ever going to be. But unfortunately, it's sometimes all anyone wants to talk about. Few people dare to look beyond, to start and ask a question that does not begin and end with my wheelchair. And it's no one's fault. But I sometimes think that that's all people can see. But it isn't just disability. We're all taught to lead with our labels, so proud to represent something and so quick to stick a label onto someone else. And in the process, we keep ourselves and each other small. We get boxed in. And then the very thing that made us visible to begin with is the thing that keeps us separate. Our identities are supposed to be worn to pride, but right now it feels like they're used like weapons. But here's what I think. We're human and we don't belong in one box. I refuse to be reduced to the label that I did not get a choice over. There has to be space for all of it, for all of me, for all of you. The mess, the meaning, the full human being. It is only once we start to see identity as something expansive and ever-changing that we will start to see someone's full story.
Is it Zell or?
My name's Giselle, but I go by Zell.
Okay, I was thinking, because Jenny and I were like Zell, she's like, wow, that was amazing. I'm so happy I didn't wear mascara, because I've just been left home. Incredible. Thank you so much for sharing your story. You should be really, really proud of yourself getting up here tonight. So enjoy that hike.